All right, I want to get to our chart of the day right now. Of course, that's Broadcom rallying to a record high after better than expected results and guidance. Christina Partsinevelos joins us now with more details. Christina.
Well, Frank, AI demand really continues to float all boats, especially Broadcom's. The custom chipmaker said they will see ongoing 60% growth from existing AI customers, and a fourth customer is expected to add $10 billion in sales in fiscal 2026. Those AI updates are why we're seeing the stock soar to an all-time high today, up 9%, and actually overshadowing what Truist calls imperfections, like weaker non-AI revenue that we did also see in the quarter. CEO Hock Tan revealed that the chipmaker has locked in this fourth customer for custom AI processors, with shipments ramping up in 2026. Analysts at JP Morgan, Morgan Stanley, and the Financial Times say the customer is actually OpenAI, joining Google, Meta, and ByteDance on Broadcom's roster. This deal, though, with OpenAI really underscores a shift in AI compute. By betting on custom chips over NVIDIA's powerful and we can say pricey GPUs, OpenAI is making a pretty clear break yet from NVIDIA's ecosystem, and this could threaten the margins behind NVIDIA's run as Wall Street's most valuable chip company, adding to shares, which are lower today, down 6 out of the last 7 business days. Hock Tan, the CEO of Broadcom, did renew his contract through 2030, suggesting he sees something worth sticking around for. And so that's why you're seeing so many analysts today racing to increase their Broadcom estimates, with citing potential room for further upside to come. And that's why the shares are higher. Right?
Christina Partsinevelos, live from the NASDAQ. Christina, thank you very much. Link, I'm going to come over to you. I had a Wedbush analyst on my show earlier today. He said best earnings call of this entire quarter. He said Hock Tan was basically one of the best salespeople on Wall Street. Do you agree? Is this more of a sales pitch than a real fundamental reason for this stock to be hitting a record high and up 9% right now?
If you know Hock Tan, he's not a sales guy at all. He delivers. He's excellent at doing M&A. And this company has really transformed. It's not just AI, which was obviously the bright spot, growing 63% year over year, but it's also software where they're growing, and that was basically better than expected. That's VMware. That's the acquisition that nobody liked, that he has actually transformed for his company. And that's a big reason in my mind why they have industry high gross margins. And gross margins were up 99 basis points year over year to 78.5%. That is unheard of. And so I think, yeah, the reason the stock is up is because they did announce this new fourth customer. I think there's another customer coming next year, and they could get to $100 billion in AI revenue by 2027. And that is up substantially from just 2 years ago when it was like 10 to 30 billion. So Hock Tan staying, I think, is absolutely critical for this company to deliver and to execute and to do more M&A, but to continue to grow above expectations. And it's just not as owned as NVIDIA. There's nothing wrong with NVIDIA. I don't own it because everybody owns it. And people do, and Broadcom's getting more popular, but I do think there's more upside to the numbers.
By the way, you missed your chance to say mystery customer. This is like everybody gets to say mystery customer today, Link. You didn't do it. Kevin, I want to come over to you. You also own Broadcom. By the way, can we show like a 24-hour chart? Because a lot of analysts came out with quick reaction notes to the quarter. And it was a good quarter overall. But the stock, it really seemed to kind of move higher after that news came out about the quote-unquote mystery customer. Reports are it's OpenAI. I want to get your take on the quarter and the idea of this customer coming in and buying $10 billion of chips. What does that mean for this company?
I mean, Stephanie hit all the high points of the earnings report, which were excellent. This is what we were expecting to see from NVIDIA, and to a large extent we did. But to your point, Frank, it was the post-game presser. It was the guidance that really took this stock up in the aftermarkets, and it held today through trading even when the rest of the market's rolling over. So I think it's really compelling that there is a competitor to NVIDIA and one that has won a large contract. Probably, you're right, I don't think the secret might be out that it's OpenAI. Not that many other candidates at this point, although there's certainly a few. And then when you look at the guidance for 25, Q4, 26, very, very positive. So why is NVIDIA down and Broadcom up? Is this the death of NVIDIA? I don't think so. I think what happens oftentimes is that there's a lot of portfolio managers who are going to dress their book heading into October, this is a scenario where maybe they were underweighted into Broadcom. I know Stephanie was, and I'm glad we own it, heavy in NVIDIA. So maybe there's a little bit of a rotation there as you do a little window dressing. So
wait, a little rotation? I mean, NVIDIA's on a 4-week losing streak.
If you're a portfolio manager and you have a ton of NVIDIA and no Broadcom, and now you're going to have to report at the end of the quarter, what you want to make sure is that you've got Broadcom on your books for your quarterly report. So you have a lot of NVIDIA, a little bit of Broadcom, you're going to be rotating. I think there's a large part of that happening.
All right, Jim, you own NVIDIA. Concerned about this 4-week pullback, concerned that maybe, just maybe, that moat that NVIDIA has is shrinking a little bit, or is there enough room for everybody in this AI party?
Yeah, the latter. I mean, this is a total addressable market that's a big enough size, and NVIDIA is supply constrained. Or excuse me, they just can't produce enough chips to satisfy demand. I don't see that changing anytime soon. I do want to quickly say congratulations, Stephanie. Congratulations, Kevin. You guys have talked about Broadcom for quite some time. Stephanie, I remember when you were talking about the dividend yield was like 3.5%. This was a value stock at one point in time, so really well done. But there is definitely enough room in this sandbox for both players. And I see NVIDIA at a 30 times forward multiple, a PEG ratio of 1.4, and people still can't get enough of its chips. And look out if you actually do get any China orders, which are absolutely not priced into the estimates. So I'm comfortable holding NVIDIA here and holding it in size.
Frank, can I just add to that, though? I think that you painted a picture where we've got month-high cash hoard that's been accumulated. And I think part of what was contributing to that story is a lot of investors have been waiting, anecdotally, waiting for the next drop. We're waiting for the next April because we feel like we missed out pre-Liberation Day, right? And I think that what you're seeing is a lot of investors who have been building up cash, waiting for an opportunity to step in and buy something. So to Kevin's point, where we're getting this sell-off in NVIDIA from folks that know they better rotate into Broadcom to say, hey, we were there too, before they have to report in October, you're going to see folks step in starting next week to buy shares of NVIDIA to pile back into that trade because this was the opportunity they were waiting for.
By the way, you're also an NVIDIA shareholder as well. No concerns about a 4-week losing streak. Kevin seems to think it's a rotation. The stocks has a lower 4 PE than Broadcom does. Supposedly it has a moat. China orders should be coming in, even though NVIDIA has to give about 15% of those revenues to the government. It's not concerning at all with all the tailwinds for NVIDIA to see it pull back for 4 straight weeks?
Thank you. I don't want to sound like I'm not concerned at all. I was raising the case this time last year that NVIDIA's biggest issue was the fact that it has 4 customers that make up the lion's share of its revenue. If one of those stopped spending, Microsoft, I think, is estimated to be 23% of that AI revenue number. So if they were to pull back or shift to some other competitor, say a Broadcom, for example, and start to have their relationship for chips go there, that definitely is concerning as an NVIDIA shareholder. But I think the thing that you really can hang your hat on as an NVIDIA investor is the fact that for the last 2 years at least, their accounts receivable has been 2 times their inventories consistently, quarter after quarter. That is the thing that really should matter to you because they can't keep it on the shelves to oversimplify. And that is the thing I think that helps to convince you that that moat is real.
Jimmy, I know you want to go, but isn't the idea that you can use the Broadcom chips, not shares, the Broadcom chips to do some of the things that NVIDIA can do, and while they can't keep it on the shelves, if people continue to try to work with other chips, whether it's a DeepSeek, which didn't really seem to be real, but just other chips and other things, I mean, doesn't that just shrink not only the moat around NVIDIA, but just the aura around it?
Sure, but that's today, right? We're talking about NVIDIA being the 80% dominant company when it comes to the global AI chip demand, right? But we also have to consider Jensen Huang's ability to find the next parade and get out in front of it. He's already talking about their shift to autonomous driving. He's already talking about the fact that AI is going to move from in data centers today onto mobile devices, and that requires a different chipset. So I think at some point we've got to consider at least the leader, the winner here, is likely to keep on winning, more so than they are to cede too much ground to a competitor like a Broadcom. But to the point I think Kevin was making, there's room for everyone here, right? There's not necessarily a finite demand yet for AI.